much as I can right now. It's been a hoot.
Hoot hoot.
Hoot hoot.
All right. Let's break some eggs. Hello and welcome to the How to Hobby podcast. I'm your host, John Power, bringing you another episode tonight with my thrilling co-host, Sean Bennett. We're on episode 63, and tonight it's going to be another building blocks special. This is actually a super special one because it's going to be an introduction to endurance athletics and how you build up to be the best at your craft of your choice, which is the best thing about this segment. And so we're really excited to bring this. Sean, how are we doing tonight? You have some big things going on in your own personal life.
I do. I'm doing good tonight. I do. I'm moving into a new apartment this weekend, so I got my room's currently in shambles as I'm trying to get prep for that. But we're getting there.
Disgusting.
We're getting there. But I'm coming off coming off a really good weekend. I
Oh,
I did an outdoor survival course on Saturday out in Julian with Fieldcraft Survival, and it was at
nice.
the ranch in Julian where they were also having an archery competition. And I actually got to meet Jocko Willink, which was pretty neat. He's a pretty cool dude in person. And spent a little bit of time talking with him, got a picture that was really cool.
Did
And then
he almost kill you?
he did not, but we did do the classic picture where he's like holding his fist up. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like the picture. But yeah, I'll have to post that
Yes,
up on the
definitely post
Instagram.
that. Post
And
that
then
up.
yeah, and then just survival course there, doing a lot of navigating with a compass and doing tourniquet application, trauma med, things like that. And then my dad and I did a gun show on Sunday out in El Cajon, and that was a blast. And I just had a
Awesome.
lot of stuff I put my name in. I'm hoping I'm going to win something here coming this
Oh,
weekend. So we'll
what
see.
what
But
what kind of gun we talking about?
so they had a couple of pistols up, and then they had some, coupons for gun sight training, which is a training here in San Diego. It's a full 3-day class. It's like a $1,300 value that they're raffling off. So they're going to announce it at this weekend's Gun Owners Radio session. So it's Sunday nights. So I'm going to hopefully hear my name called out on that one. But
Awesome,
yeah, so coming off a good weekend. How about you?
man. I'm doing great, man. My buddy actually just won a year supply of ice cream
What?
from Hammond's, and that reminded me of your winning story. So good luck on that. I
Thank you.
can't believe that my buddy literally he won ice cream from this ice cream shop for a year. I mean, he can walk in whenever he wants and gets free ice cream. How
That's cool.
awesome is that? It's down the street from his house too.
Ooh.
So unreal. They opened in North Park. If you're a San Diego fellow, I think it's actually Hammond's or something. I don't know. I feel like I could probably figure it out here real quick. But
There's Hammond's, there's Handles.
it's Handles.
The
That's what it is.
Handles. Yep. Handles has some of the best ice cream in San Diego.
But and he has it for a year. I
That's
mean, this is
insane. And because their stuff's not cheap either. So
they
that's some money right there.
so they opened it in North Park, this new or University Heights, and
Mhm.
apparently the first like 1,500 people that came through that day on the grand opening got free ice cream for a year.
That's crazy.
So yeah, go to things and be the first, I guess. Anyway, I don't know where it is. Sean, maybe you know the address and you can post it for the San Diego listeners out there that want to try it and wish they got free ice cream. But I do have a story, Sean. I was actually able to complete another year of the port to port. Listeners who have been around for a while have probably heard me talk about it. This year, I was able to, on Saturday, you were out there meeting Jocko. I was on the road, riding around like a maniac. And we did it, listeners. We got another 100-mile ride done in a day, which is really exciting. 3 years in a row. So I'm feeling pretty good. And I think we can do more, Sean. It's a good feeling when you know that you have more in the tank.
Oh yeah.
So I'm feeling pretty good about that. And it was you were there on Saturday. It was kind of a misty day. I don't know if it was east
So
East.
east in Julian, it actually ended up being about 82 degrees and sunny. So it was
Mm.
actually pretty, it was hot enough in my car that my phone holder sticky was coming off the dashboard because it was getting the sticky
Oh,
was
no.
adhesive was coming off. But once I drove inland back home, that's when it got that misty, I mean,
Okay.
I mean, for anyone from San Diego, our May gray hit really hard this year. We actually had no full sun days in the entire month of May. It's like the first time in a
Can't
few
believe
years
that.
it's happened. We had less than like 54% sun or 47% sun throughout the entire month. So it's been really weird and gloomy and kind of rainy in San Diego. So, but I would imagine, is that good weather or is that bad weather for riding a bike?
So it's great, except for when it's actually misting.
Yeah.
I was extremely wet to start the day off, and that's not necessarily great for both the bike and I mean, the bike is fine, but your gear train, I mean, depending on what kind of lube you have on your chain, it can got to be a little weird. Now
Hmm.
already have to, I had just tuned it up. It was great. And then the mist struck, and I run a dry lube because that's what you need to do out here in Arizona. But when it's wet, it doesn't work as well. So go
Hmm.
figure. Um, but yeah, it just was a little like you get all the droplets on your helmet and like hanging off your sunglasses and just kind of it was soppy. It was like being licked by a wet dog for the first 3 hours. So it was okay, but it ended up we pushed through and completed the ride. So that's a big win. And I can't wait because tonight's gonna be all about this exact thing. How you
Yep.
plan your endurance and or build up to your endurance athletic events that again, listeners, you can plan and do yourself. This is an unsanctioned event. This is something I just have been doing with a group of people for a number of years. It started off very casual, and now I've just been pushing and ticking up every year to kind of see what I can do. And it's been really fun to do because again, you don't have any pressure and it's very low cost. I mean, I procure all of my nutrition supply leading up to the event throughout the months prior, and then I'm all set to go. And I barely spend any money. I spend money to get gas to go to San Diego. Then I spend money on the few meals that I have in the day, but for the most part, I'm on the bike anyway. So it's not like you're
Hmm.
sitting there and having an amazing dinner or something. Well, dinner was actually good. I had 2 dinners.
Oh,
um, so anyway, before we dive into that, listeners, that and more, we are going to dive into our favorite thing, which is social media. I actually was posting actively throughout the ride on the Instagram this time, and this is something we're going to be doing moving forward. So if we have things that are happening in real time, we're going to be bringing you along for the ride. We want to start including you guys, being better with our Instagram. So at How to Hobby Podcast on Instagram is where you can find that. And I don't know if you still have access to the stories, but I think we can probably make a folder or something,
mhm.
and you can relive the journey with me. There's a couple funny ones on there where I'm like, I had just done Torrey Pines at mile 90, and that's no
That's
matter
a
who you are,
that's a beast of a hill.
that's a piece of a hill. And so that's fun to watch back. And man, when you're huffing and puffing, that hill, it doesn't matter who you are, that hill makes you uh little because you're just not ready. Your system, no matter how finely tuned it is, you're going to be huffing and puffing, and people are going to be looking at you like, "What's that guy doing? Oh my gosh, is that a bike rider? Oh yeah, it is. Oh, leave him alone. He's really dying." that's kind of the commentary you hear on your way up. I went up the glider port way, so
Oh, okay, okay.
through the
Yep.
state park.
Yeah.
That's the way I go because it's just harder, and I like a little bit of a challenge. So
A little
um
bit, just a little challenge.
it's also funny. It really is funny to hear that commentary as you're going up because
Mhm.
you're passing people. They're walking up this really, the grade, it's like a 15% grade. And so you're, passing these people, and it's just so funny seeing their faces. And anyway, you're suffering, and it's just a good time. So that's the Instagram and a little bit of a bonus. We also have a Gmail account where you can get in touch with us if you want to let us know how we're doing. If we're your favorite podcasters, we hope we are. You can let us know. And that's at howtohobbypodcast at gmail.com. Yeah, any feedback as well. Constructive criticism. We welcome that too. And then we do have our favorite thing, our beloved website, howtohobbypodcast.com. And we've been putting good content on there for a while, so you can go and find out a little bit more about us. I think that's it, Sean. So we're going to dive into tonight's main event, the one that everybody's been waiting for.
Oh yeah.
So
Let's do it. All right. So tonight we're going to do things a little different for the longtime listeners. John has this innate skill just to be really good at leading the podcast and hosting it, but I'm gonna try it tonight. We're gonna see what this is like, because this is John and I are lucky enough that a lot of our hobbies correlate with each other. They cross over. And it allows us to hang out, talk, and do this podcast. But there are certain areas where John is an expert in one thing and I'm an expert in other, and maybe we don't have the same interests. Like I zero interest in becoming an endurance athlete, whereas John, this is a big part of his life. This is a big thing that what he does. So we're going to do it a little different tonight, where I'm going to be supporting a friend of mine in a hobby that I have no knowledge of, and we're going to ask him some questions, and we're just going to go through, and we're going to use this as a tool to help anybody out there who either wants to get into this, learn some tips and tricks from John, and anyone who maybe doesn't, but you have friends or family that are into this, maybe you can ask them some of these same questions and see what their answers are like, and see, send us some emails and say, hey, my brother does this. This is something he recommended that you do, and we can definitely give you a shout out. So we're going to go ahead and get started with kind of what is endurance athletics. It's kind of a big term. Like, what does it really mean? What are we going to be talking about tonight? So, John, can you do me a favor and kind of give us some examples of what endurance athletics means to you, and like what it really is?
I would love to, Sean. So listeners, this is the way we got to start this, because this is a very specific discipline, and there's a number of ways you can skin the cat here. I mean, in almost every athletic genre, I'll call them a genre, you can find endurance. And endurance, in my mind, I'll go through the big four tonight for you. And these are going to be ones that we've covered in the past. So riding a bicycle for a set amount of time between 60 and 120 miles in a single day, up to 200 miles, is what I would consider an endurance challenge on the bicycle. Another one that I would consider endurance athletics and fall in that category is doing something high altitude and long length, like Mount Whitney, or some of our longer hikes in the US or around the world, doing hardcore mountaineering. Those are some endurance related events that you need a lot of experience to do. And generally these things do take more experience, because if you do it wrong, you can injure yourself. And we're going to try and give you some building blocks along the way tonight to help you avoid injuring yourself. Because again, this is a building blocks episode, just like we've been doing the second quarter. And we want to provide you with the steps and leave you the opportunity to reach out. If you have questions regarding how you should start, please send us an email, and we'd love to get back to you. Another one would be anything running related that's of the length of a marathon or more. And then there's, of course, the cross-disciplinary, like an Ironman. That's an endurance athletic event. And then some people love swimming. I can't really speak on this, but I know there are people out there that do crazy swims, like the Alcatraz 500. It's got some number associated, where you swim from Alcatraz to one of the local land masses there in San Francisco Bay, or an island swim. Those are endurance athletic events. So that kind of sets the table here and what we're kind of talking about. And that will shape the way I'm going to talk about this topic, because it's all about doing something, taking what you would maybe do in a morning on a Saturday and doing it all day long and
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
what you can do with that.
Exactly. Now, when you say a 60 to 120-mile bike ride, I want to make sure that the listeners understand because I don't think you said the distance of your port to port. If they haven't listened before, can you give me an idea of how many miles was your port to port bike ride and how long did it take you?
Yeah, yeah. So this year I ended up doing 108 miles over 9 hours of time total, give or take. I need to. I'm actually, listeners. By the time you're listening to this on Friday, this coming Friday, I will have posted the Instagram about the stats of my effort I did on Saturday. So you can actually see and go in there and double check my numbers. But yeah, it was about 9 hours of time. Now, the thing about the port to port that's unique, and again, this is even a building block in itself, listeners. It's a more, I meet people, and this is something that I've been doing with a group of people for, I think this is my 7th year doing this. And again, I started smaller. I started doing 60 on Friday and then 60 the next day. So 120 total over 2 days, which was a lot, but not 100 in a single day. And so, that kind of set the springboarded me into the ring of trying to do more and more. But again, this is more of a casual ride, actually. So by noon this time, or lunchtime, I had done, actually, it was about 11:30. I started at 6:12 a.m. in Claremont, and by 11:30, I was in Carlsbad, just outside of Oceanside, and I had done 70 miles. So that gives you an idea of kind of where I was at. And then from there, I took the rest of the day to get to the 100. So I only did 38 more miles the rest of the afternoon. So if that
Mhm.
gives you an idea, if I would have kept going at the pace I was on from the morning, I probably would have been at 140, 150 miles. And hint, hint, we'll see where I go from here later on. But this, you can also enjoy the process, listeners, of developing these events. And so it was a more social afternoon, less intense, and more stopping.
Yep. I think that it's so hard for me to comprehend getting on a bike and riding that many miles. And I think that it's sometimes hard for a lot of other people to wrap their head around too. Because theoretically, I mean, you're thinking of, a 2-hour drive time to go the same miles the mileage that you went, and you're just using the power of your legs. I think that is insane to me. And I can't wait to learn more about like what got you to this step in your life to be able to do this and what piqued your interest. So we're going to go through, our normal format, last building block episodes. We have our keys to success. Then we're talking about some of our tools, current and all-time favorites. So the keys that we're going to talk about tonight with John are specifically day of nutrition, training and how to get yourself ready for it, pushing yourself once you hit that wall that we all know you have, and then how to prep with good sleep to make sure you have the energy. So we're going to go through each of these and just kind of ask John like what these keys are for him. So
Crazy keys.
when you're talking about day of nutrition, I would imagine not only is nutrition leading up to this during your training period, which I think we'll probably talk about then, but day of nutrition's got to be really important too, because you need to make sure that you're getting the carbs and the vitamins and the nutrients that you need, but also not being too full. So like walk me through your day of nutrition plan.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, this has taken me a number of years, listeners, to develop. I'm still working on it. This is like one of my favorite things about doing this because you can always improve your nutrition no matter what. And I do it in every facet, every hobby that I'm working in. I'm kind of applying the same framework, but depending on the level of activity, you need to tailor it. And that's kind of the key. You learn more about yourself through these every time you do it, what works, what doesn't. I will say this year, up to this point, it's been the most successful I've been at my nutrition. Cause I think, again, this is my 3rd year doing a century, and you just learn each time what your body needs better. And so I've really, but it's kind of the full spectrum, Sean. It's actually you need water, you need salt, you need food, and then you mentioned the carbs. So, that's kind of food, carbs. But I was just talking to somebody about this. I think there's actually sort of this phenomenon in exercise right now that's kind of foreign to me. And I want to dispel any thoughts regarding it up front, because
Let's
I
do it.
personally, I don't agree that this is the right way to go in about this. So if you're doing casual athletics, listeners, do what you want to do. Don't give your body nutrition, lose weight, do all of those things. But when you're doing a endurance event like this, don't hurt yourself. If you do not give yourself proper nutrition, and it's going to feel weird because you're going to be eating every single hour. And guess what? You need it, because the only way to avoid injury in this field when you're doing an 8-hour total event is giving yourself nutrition. But in the Western culture, I think we've developed this idea that, oh, well, if I want to, trust me, I've got enough nutrition stored up right here, so I'm just going to go out there and hit it. Well, maybe you do, but I'll guarantee you that the moment you hit out there and you get to hour 3 and you didn't take anything, your body is going to start going, I'm gassed. Where is the food? I need it. And so that I just want to upfront kind of give, this is a different identity of exercise and athletics here. It's
Well,
not like,
this is an area of life where you see the true essence of food as fuel. I think that inherently food is fuel, and it's what we need to eat to survive. But a lot of us see food as I want to eat, I love to eat, like me. I mean, I struggle with that on a daily basis. But when you are doing events like this, you're not. I mean, probably enjoying what you're eating, but you're not eating for pleasure. You are eating for the fuel that it's giving you. And if you don't have that fuel, your body is going to start having to process itself to be
and
able to
that's
give
not
you
good.
that fuel. And like, yes, like me, I have a lot of, I got some layers on me, but there's more than just fat that you need to operate. You need the proteins, the salts, the vitamins, the nutrients, everything that you need. And if you don't give your body that, it's going to start pulling it from somewhere else. It's going to start degrading muscles. It's going to start degrading anything, sucking water out.
Yep.
You're going to have a hard time processing all of the sweat that you're trying to get out. So, this is not eating to eat. This is not eating because you like it. This is if you don't
Forcing
eat,
yourself to eat.
you're gonna have a problem. So it's there's even science to it, which I'm curious to
There,
get your opinion on that.
there is, and I've done so. And I was a little harsh, listeners. I don't want to make you feel bad. I have done it the other way, and so I'm speaking from experience. My first time I did like a 60-mile ride, I was a poor college kid and had no money to afford any type of. I came in there with like a protein bar, and let me tell you where I ended up. I ended up on the side of the road, cramping on the upstroke and on the downstroke. Both sides of my muscle were cramping, and I had to call my buddy's dad, to give me a ride up to his house so that I could get a ride home. So that is where I found myself. I don't want you to go through that. It's an unfortunate experience. And again, I was naive. I had no idea that that's what happens when I was just like, I'm young, I could totally do this. I'm just going to go. Yeah, I could have went and got more food, but no, I can do this. So I don't want you to end up there, listeners. So we'll dive into more of that, Sean. I think I'll give a number of products, listeners, that I really highly recommend. And I think the beauty of this is you're going to just have to go for it and take bring more than less approach is the important part. I usually have a number of snacks and things that I didn't eat, and that's okay. But I've been using a few things here that I do want to highlight. Element, which is a salt potassium drink mix that you can put in water. It's got stevia, but you can also, if you don't like that, you can go with just the raw salt powder. I highly recommend that because, again, sometimes you need just salt and you're kind of over food, and that's okay. But you need, I think, to be honest, Sean, I think that's the key to avoiding injury.
Hmm.
Actually, especially when you're talking about using one specific muscle group over a long period of time. Because I've done this in the past, and my legs have been the thing that have shattered first.
Yep.
This year, I woke up on Sunday morning and had no pain.
Wow.
No pain. So I literally was walking around. I mean, and that's, to me, that's a huge, I mean, that's what I'm telling you, that the power of nutrition, it's not a, it's not a minute thing. It's not a minimal detail. It's like the whole battle. I mean,
Hmm.
I was able to get into a car and drive back to Arizona 5 hours and have no problems doing it. Like that's a huge win for me as an endurance athlete. And I'm
That
happy to report it. I'm
I
actually
think
quite proud.
that's impressive because my question was going to be, how did you feel the next day? So I'm very impressed that you were able to wake
Sorry,
up
I'm
because I was feeling
leading the witness.
if it were me, I don't think I'd be able to move for a week. But now I'd imagine that not only does the nutrition play in, because definitely you need those salts when you're going to be sweating, whether it's cold or not, you're going to be sweating, you're going to be losing electrolytes. You need to make sure you're getting those in, and also doing a healthier way of getting salts rather than just saying, "Oh, I'll just eat a bunch of pepperoni or I'll eat a pizza," like you're actually doing it intentionally. I think that that's really smart. But I would imagine that in combination with having the right nutrition and making sure, like being able to say the next day your legs are okay, is saying that you took the time to train your body and your mind to be able to handle something like this. So I'm curious, in the next key, what what was your training process like for this? Or what has it been in the past? Maybe I want to hear this year because you've done this your third year now, so you know what you're looking forward to, but also the first year before you did this. How has your training program changed or is it the same?
Yeah, no, it's pretty much the same, Sean. Great questions tonight. And I think it's just, it comes down to, what do you like, listeners? You may have hobbies that you just feel like click with you. For me, and I've expressed this in the past when we talked about cycling, for me, riding a bike just clicks. My body is getting, now again, I built it up. I have been riding my bike now for 5 years straight. I've been putting in an average of 3,000 miles a year on my bicycle. When I was in San Diego, I was riding 100 miles to work every week, just riding to work. That didn't
Hmm.
even include any additional extracurricular rides. I mean, and that's, so again, there's a couple things that go into that. You think, oh, well, it's just riding to work. Well, I'm bringing a work bag. I have clothes associated and food and things that are in that work bag. It weighs something. I'm wearing, in a lot of cases, when I'm going to work, if it's a colder month, I'm wearing jeans. There's a lot of things that some people, this is where people go, oh, that's crazy. I would never do that. But for me, it works. And it's happened to be, it actually has created an unbelievable training routine, because when I get on my bike and I'm unladen, I don't have like a full, you've seen my work bag, Sean.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like I highly recommend it. Mission, the Rummy work bag, or it's a messenger bag. I've talked about in the past. Great bag, but it weighs, I've actually never weighed it. It definitely weighs probably between 12 and 15 pounds when I've got everything on. So I'm doing that all the time. And then I'm training my, when you're riding in jeans, that is not my chamois. Like, I have no
Hmm.
padding. So when you talk about consistency and being able to like handle, because that's a whole other thing, like saddle comfortability is
Hmm.
another big one for people when they talk about doing this. I can't sit on a bike for 8 hours, is what, I hear. And I go, well, I can, because I've been riding in jeans for the last 5 years, every single day of the week. And so those things add up, just by, it's not even like I'm doing it for a purpose, more or less. Again, in that sense, it's just, I'm doing it to get to work. And then through that, it has given me a result of much more durability overall. Like my body, again, when I take all that stuff off and I actually put on my cycling bib and I just have a jersey on, oh man, I'm like flying.
Because
There,
you've been practicing with weights, essentially, is what
that's
you're doing. So
I have like a
you're
weight belt.
exactly, you've got a weight belt, and then all of a sudden now you're just doing free body in the gym. Like it's smart. I mean, that's what the military guys do with rucking. They pack their backpacks as heavy as they possibly can, and then go walk for 20 miles because when it comes off, they're now prepared to walk 30 miles because they have the strength to do 20 with a 50-pound backpack on. So I think that's cool. That's a neat thing I wouldn't have really thought about, that riding to and from work is providing that much of a training tool, but I think that's neat.
Well, I equate it to actually Dragon Ball Z capsule training and negative in like 50 times gravity or
Uh-huh.
10,000 times gravity. I'm in there on my hands and knees, like doing the finger push-ups, and I've got the weight of the world coming down on me. That's my nerdy. But to be really to continue the trend, when I put on my work bag to this morning, I rode in with my laptop on my back and my lunch, and I had a kombucha because I like kombucha. And the kombucha was like literally, sometimes you just can't pack the bag comfortably.
Uh-huh.
And it was like in my spine as I'm riding. And I'm going, see, this is it. This is so painful. And yet when I get this off, I'm gonna be like, all right, another couple 20 miles or whatever that gave me tenacity.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The if I can handle the pain, I can handle it without the pain even more.
That's that's right. And those
I
work laptops, you know how heavy they are. They're
oh,
like
good
that in
Lord.
itself is like 20 pounds.
100%. This is the heaviest work laptop I've ever had. It's a brick, and I hate lugging my backpack on.
Is it
So
a
I
Dell?
it is. Yeah, it's a Dell ThinkPad. So the brick, it's a engineering laptop. So it's got
Yes.
like
The
32 gigs.
Precision
Yeah, the Precision's got the 32
i7.
gigs RAM. Oh yeah.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
The thing
I
weighs like
know it well.
100 pounds.
Dude, so that's the key.
Yeah.
Listeners, put your
Yep.
work laptop on and ride with that and you'll get a lot better.
Oh yeah, you'll be ready for anything. So speaking of like hitting that point where maybe it's your tush that's hurting from riding the bike so long, or maybe it's that your legs are starting to get tired, your legs are cramping, or whatever it is, you're getting tired, maybe just generally tired. What what do you do? What's it like to hit that? Well, I'm gonna call it a wall. I don't know if it's a wall for you, but hit that wall of realizing that you now need to push yourself a little bit harder. You're starting to feel the fatigue set in. And then, how do you prepare your mind for knowing that's going to be coming and then embrace it when it happens? Does that make sense?
It does. And I'll tell you, Sean, I think desert training has been huge for me. So I'll kind of tether it here. That was sort of silly, listeners. I mean, honestly, it's a huge part of what's made me where I'm at. But I did this last year, Sean, and you were a part of this. I did the 7-week challenge where I was doing 100 miles a week. And so for a 7-week block, I did 700 miles, and that was my goal. And I did that as a mix of riding to work and then additionally doing weekend rides
Mhm.
in the heat. And when you ride in the heat of summer here, it is a different beast entirely. I mean, you really need to, that is what has changed my mindset to really, I think, make me believe that I can handle anything. Because if I can handle a desert headwind in 105-degree weather with the sun beating down on me and it feels good, then that means I'm getting somewhere. And honestly, that's where I have started to come to, where once you start tethering yourself to this type of athletics, and for me, it's so comfortable being on the bike that even in the midst of those situations where I'm getting the sun beating down on me, I've got the headwind coming in, I somehow find this place of like Zen, and I can just focus on, I let my mind wander, which is another big thing. This is really mindfulness at work. And we talked about in Q1 of this year, we talked about mindfulness, how important it is to have things that let your mind go free. This is my time to let my mind go free. And I do that when I'm having some of my toughest moments. Now, I did this last ride. You're kind of hinting at when do these moments come? At around, I would say, mile 95, I stopped eating because I knew we'd be getting to our final pizza port and ending for the day. And so I made the choice, that the decision to, okay, I'm gonna tune back the consumption of like consistent like I'm gonna stop the drip.
Mhm.
Because when you're in the midst of the activity and you're gonna be going all day, you're pretty much eating. I eat every hour to hour and a half. I'm giving
Mhm.
myself, I would say, a minimum of 100 calories, a max of like 200 calories every hour. Um, and that can be in liquid. You switch it up, is what I say, listeners. Like, do things that you like. But I usually do a mix of hard bars, actual fruit. Like, I started the day off with an apple. I had a couple of mandarins with me because, again, it's just a quick pop.
Mhm.
A lot of times it's what to get the job done within that hour of nutrition you need. It can be a mix of electrolyte and the classic soccer snack. Oh, I'm just going to take some nuts, or oh, I'm going to take just a little mandarin.
Mhm.
Those are some of the things that can get you through. Now, as you up the effort, like we went east this time, Sean. So instead of just staying the whole time on the coast, which is pretty level, we went east and got altitude.
Okay.
So once you start climbing, listeners, that's a whole other level. You're going to have to up the calorie intake, because that is when I start to feel the legs and the lactic acid start to build up. And that's when I hit my red line for this ride, which, if you've never redlined, listeners, it's quite an interesting experience when your body is tuned up. Because when I redline, I can feel my entire body start to almost like seize up. And
Mm.
it comes from like your heart starts, just, you feel all this pressure. And then, like, this time, like, my entire body just got very, almost, yeah, I mean, it was sort of like, it's a strange level of pain. It's not like, ow, that hurts. It's just like, oh wow, that is absolute maximum. And that's an interesting feeling to get to. And it's also known as bonking, but that's like where, when you're in a race, you're hitting as hard as you can. You're putting out as many watts as you can, and your body cannot go any farther. You've hit
Eh,
your ceiling.
I've learned a new term. I like that, bonking.
Bonking. So yeah, my red line this time, listeners, was at 188 BPM. So, and my average heart rate during the entire day was around 130. And again, I'll share these stats with you. But yeah, pushing yourself, again, it's different for everybody, but I like to just push myself. So if it's a hill, I'm going to hit it. Like, if I'm in the midst of doing something like this, I'm going to continue to push and
Mhm.
continue to, like, crank the gears. I'm not out there to just, on an effort or a day like this where I'm devoting myself to an activity. I'm not out there to just, I'll just not really do this. I'm committed, and I'm going to, once you get your engine going, that's the best part about endurance athletics, because you're in the zone and you can just push and push and push and push, and until your body starts to break down, which at 95, I was close to the end. Like I said, I had stopped taking nutrition, and I actually had to take some more because I started to, like, physically shake. Like, it was like,
Mhm.
okay, you just did Torrey Pines. I understand you don't want to, like, you're going to have another dinner here, but I'm hungry and I need
Yeah.
food.
But you listen to your body. Like
Yeah. Yeah. So
you tried to tell it what to do, and then you're like, okay, okay, I'm
I,
listening.
and you really just feel uncomfortable. Like, again, listeners, you'll understand when you get to a point where it's uncomfortable. That's when your body's trying to say, no, what are you doing? Like, I mean, I was shaking. I got really hot. Like, cause
Mm.
one, the sun actually sort of came out, but it was just interesting. Like, everything starts telling you, what are you doing, idiot? Like, I need to stay alive.
Yeah.
And that's where you're at.
I think that's really cool that you found that, though, because I don't think I've ever pushed myself physically hard enough to find that wall. I mean, that where your body is at max, you're bonked, and you're saying, "Look, like, I have to listen to my body. Something is telling me I gotta relax, I gotta calm down, I gotta get some more nutrition, I gotta take a break." I would it makes sense that it was Torrey Pines, but I think that, you're very lucky in that you've found that place for yourself. You've found that you've pushed your body so far that you understand its max capability, because it means that for the rest of your life, especially if you continue doing this at least once a year, if not more, you will always know what you are capable of. And I think a lot of people don't truly know. I know for a fact I'm not truly capable of what my I'm not truly knowledgeable what my body's capable of. I think that's really cool that you have achieve that. And I think that's something that endurance athletes have a rare opportunity to see that in themselves, and then see how much farther they can keep going at that peak. And I think we always say you can go a little bit harder, you can go a little bit farther, but at that point, like, you can't. You physically are tapped out. And I just think that's really, really cool. Moving on, I know that coming into the ride, and I'm assuming after the ride, you're going to need to really recover, right? And so prepping, I'm imagining you focus on sleep hardcore before, and you've got to think sleep is hardcore afterwards. So, what do you do specifically with your sleep to help you prepare and recover?
Yeah, I think sleep's a big one, man. I mean, so I'm huge on managing my activities throughout the day and how I eat and consume caffeine every single day so that I don't, and alcohol, so that I don't impact my sleep. One, I would purge everything the day before. So this year I didn't do caffeine on Friday. I didn't do alcohol on Friday, and I tried to eat as clean as possible. And that was just, you're not going to get it all during the event, listeners. So
Mhm.
I think in my mind, it's like, I always try and keep myself as the caller of the shots when it comes to those things that I can control, like inputs. I can control inputs, listeners,
Mhm.
and everybody can. So giving yourself, say you need, okay, say you're hardcore into caffeine, you need 3 days to detox. Give yourself the 3 days, because on the day, you don't need to be stopping at coffee. Like, it's just gonna, like, I know coffee is huge for rides, and for social rides, I like coffee.
Mhm.
But for events like this, where it's like, no, I've got a purpose here. I'm just trying to get max output out of my body. Getting all like, you are going to be hyped up. You're literally consuming sugar all the time, because that's all you're really doing. Pick your poison of like what it is, whether it's a solid, liquid, gel. All you're doing is giving yourself sugar to be able to maintain the effort, the energy. And if you're doing it hard, like I do, you're hitting it hard, then that just means more sugar.
Mhm.
So, like, I just find it, for myself, but personally, I just find it a little bit, adding additional caffeine to that is like, now, if it's a very, like, sometimes there's a small amount, like 15 milligrams or something in these little products. Hey, that's not going to really do much. But like, chugging a coffee for myself would be kind of detrimental, because I would
Mhm.
just, then I'd be like jittery, and I don't know. I just, it, you're on something already.
We don't want that. Plus, if anyone else is like me with coffee, it's pretty much quick trip to the bathroom after that. So
Yeah,
we
that's
didn't.
the other thing we're trying to avoid during these
Cor-
events.
Correct. You're
That's,
doing your best to be able to stay on the bike.
glad you brought that one up, Sean. Yeah, let's stay on the bike, listeners. I do not want to, I don't want to take that risk.
No.
No, no, no. But yeah, sleep. So actually, you sleep a lot better when you've purged
Mhm.
everything out. Go figure. So I actually slept well the night before. I woke up. I always set like a time. This time I said, all right, 6 a.m. I'm going to get up, I got up at 5, but by 6 a.m. I want to be on the road. And I think
Mhm.
those are like the other important things about the process, is like setting a goal, but then like, don't mess around. Like,
Yeah.
get on it first thing in the morning. Like, it's amazing. I kept saying to myself, and I say this every time, by 10 a.m., we were already at like mile 50. And I'm just going, man, this is unbelievable how much you can, like, to your credit, what you said at the beginning, Sean, doing that much on a bicycle, even when you're the one doing it, is like
Hmm.
kind of mind blowing.
Yeah.
You're kind of left going, wait, really? I'm this far. I mean, we were practically in Vista at 10, and I started in Claremont and went to Point Loma to start. That's where I had my first Instagram video, was at the Point Loma lighthouse. So again, like, dude, that's a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. That's no joke.
So it's just fun to kind of, and that's why I love the bike. I personally, like, that's my poison. Anybody's welcome to try and do, like, I'd encourage the listeners to find the thing that works for them out of this. And I would like to go through the building block tools that I have
Yeah.
for that I currently love. And this is like my current favorite. So one of the big ones, Sean, you asked about it earlier, I think, and it revolves around how do you build the mental stamina and the training. Like, it becomes a training block as well, is being consistent with whatever you're choosing. So pick your hobby, listeners. I mean, it could be skateboarding for all I know. I mean, maybe you want to be the first one to ride 100 miles on a skateboard or something. I don't know. Like, go for it is what I would say, but be consistent with that activity. I've dedicated 5 years and will continue to dedicate hours every week to cycling because I love it. And I want to continue to be able to do things like this. And I have more to do this year that we'll talk about later this episode. Not too much later, soon.
No. No.
But be consistent with your said activity.
Yeah. I think that is something that's been a theme for us for 63 episodes. I mean, consistency is key here, even more so with what sounds like endurance athletics and training yourself and really pushing yourself to get into it. And the key here is finding something that you enjoy. Trying to become an endurance athlete in something that you don't enjoy, to me, just makes zero sense if you're
That
just doing it to do it. Like, this
makes
has
no
to be
sense to me
something
too.
that you like straight up enjoy, like John and his bike. I think that makes it easier to be consistent. So I do really want to hear about this current objective that you have and where you're trying to get this year. But we're going to do a quick segment. This is a new one for
Oh,
us. It's called It's Payday.
bum,
So
bum, bum.
it's coming out, fresh 6 a.m. Friday morning,
Let's
right when that
go.
paycheck hits. So I'm curious,
That
John,
paycheck.
what's something on your want list right now that you are investigating or saving up for, or you're just like,
Investigating.
this is what I need.
That's investigating. Well, Sean, I got investigated. Let me just start off with that. I
Oh,
actually had just bought a fresh shaving cream, my favorite shaving cream. It's called it's by the Art of Shaving.
yep. My brother
Um,
loves that stuff.
it's so good. Got a fresh pot. I mean, it's like a pot
Hmm.
off. But the thing is, it lasts you for like 5 years. That's the secret. But it's like a $30 investment.
Hmm.
Well, I made the cardinal mistake, Sean. I tried to bring my fresh pot of shaving cream to Hawaii with me because I was like, I'm going to do some shaving in Hawaii for some reason. And I forgot the rule
Uh-huh.
that this is more of a gel. In fact, I had an old one that I think was solid. And it's sort of like, as you added water, it like
Yep.
became more soft. But this one is more fluid like. And I
I'm gonna guess it
totally
was not under 3.5 ounces.
it was not. It was it was a pot. I mean, we're talking, this is like the 6 ounce pot. And I just was like, no, it was probably like 5 ounces, the sweet spot where you really
Hmm.
get upset. And I legitimately, like, the guy took it and I had something to say about it because that was my shaving. I just bought that is not a fluid. And he just he said, do you want to go out and check this? And I just went.
Do you want to check your shaving cream?
I just went. I didn't even have a response. I think I just looked at my neighbor and went, it's always something with these guys. Always something. And I walked straight to my plane, and Allie was giggling the whole way. She was like, so I need new shaving cream.
Okay.
So I got investigated.
Yeah, you
And
did.
now I have to do the investigation of more Amazon Prime
You got your
ordering.
stuff confiscated.
I got confiscated post investigation, and he was so happy too. I mean, they when they get you, like
Oh, they love it.
you can see like he wasn't outright grinning, but he was like,
Like,
mm.
yeah, I'm getting my paycheck today.
It's like, I am saving America today, and I was like, that's my new shaving cream, right? No,
But John, it could have been a bomb.
that's right. It could have been. Thank you, TSA. And I have another one, something more fun, which is I've been investigating this game called Hi-Fi Rush, and it is a game off Steam that's on sale right now. Recent reviews, overwhelmingly positive, but get this, it's the feel the beat as a wannabe rock star, and his ragtag team, Chai, apparently his name is Chai. They fight against an evil megacore with raucous rhythm combat. So it's like rhythm and music based combat. He's got like an electric
Neat.
guitar. Come on, man. I mean, I'm the rhythm guy. You know it. This is going to be unbelievable. It's on sale. So
You got to get it. You got to get it.
on the list.
We got to do
What
a
about
screen grab of you playing it. You know,
we are putting that on the gram next
live,
week for sure. Post stats.
living up to your rhythm name there. Okay, that's I think those
Hi-Fi
are both
Rush.
high priorities. I think those are both really good things on the want list. For me right now,
Thanks,
moving
Sean.
in, you're moving into a new apartment. I'm going to be getting a new TV. So I'm looking at a 4K 55-inch TV from
Oh my
Costco. It's a
gosh.
really good price.
Wow.
But what I've heard is a lot of new TVs now, they're putting the speakers in the back of the TV to be able to save space and make them thinner and look nicer, which makes the sound quality really poor.
Oh yeah, no,
And
no.
so
Terrible.
I'm in the
Terrible.
market for a new sound bar with a subwoofer. So Kate has one that she really likes. I'm trying to find good deals at either Best Buy, Costco, Walmart, Target, wherever I can get it. So if anyone has any suggestions for a good sound bar, uh,
Vizio. Vizio,
Vizio.
my man.
So that's the one that Kate has. They don't
I'm
sell the model that she has anymore. They're a little bit
yeah,
more
no.
expensive now. So I'm trying to find it, but I know that it's going to be something I got to get because I want to have good sound. I
Yep.
want to enjoy my TV,
Got
especially
it.
with when I'm moving to this apartment. On my own. I've got a PS5. I'm going to be playing games on a 4K TV. I'm
Gosh.
going to have headphones on when I'm playing the game though, but when I'm just watching TV, Netflix, watching movies or whatever it is, I don't want to have wimpy sound where I can't hear them. So I'm gonna have to get myself a sound bar, but that is my it's payday, something on my want list. All right.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
What I can't wait to see this TV and this setup and this wow,
I know
you're
once
gonna have the pad.
once I get the place set up, yeah, I've got to have you come over so we can grab beers, we can do whatever.
And we can christen it with a fresh How to Hobby podcast live from the Bennett residence in San Diego. I can't wait.
I know I can't wait either. I'm stoked. All right, so we're gonna get
This is great.
I know I'm excited. All right, we're gonna go and get back into it tonight. So we've talked about the keys to success. We've talked about your building up tools. Now we're going to go through current objectives for you and then your all-time favorite tools. So
That's
I'm
right.
curious, now that you've hit this milestone, I mean, 3 years in a row of hitting a century, which anyone who doesn't know is doing over 100 miles on the bike. Where do you go from here? Like what are your current goals to try and hit?
Man, Sean, I'm so glad you asked. This is great. Well, I have to say it, listeners. I have way more in the tank. This century, this year was, I don't like to say anything's easy because it's not that it's easy, but man, I had a lot to give. And I think my training blocks are paying off. Riding, 100, averaging about 100 miles a week over time has just been great. The heat here in Phoenix, the being able to ride in the Southwest every single day of your life, if you want to, is great. Going in my sauna. That's my other secret training tip. I go into the garage. We have a exercise bike, and I
Okay.
just ride for like 30 minutes in the heat of summer.
Nice. Is so your garage is your sauna?
Yeah, literally, I mean, that is my sauna, and I'm doing
Oh, that's
athletics
cool.
inside. So it's like a secret. And I'm telling you, there's a couple endurance riders out of Tucson, man. I'm telling you. And he actually, Keegan Swenson, I mentioned, he just won
Mhm.
Unbound, which is a 200-mile race on Saturday, same day as I was doing mine. Sorry to spoil it, listeners, but he's out of Tucson. And this guy, man, he's killing it right now. And that's what I'm talking about. AZ, let's go. But there's some good stuff out here, listeners. So we gotta rep it. If you're a bike rider out of Arizona, let's come together. So I have a big one, Sean. 150-mile day ride is my next, and I know I'm doing it solo
Yeah,
because the
okay,
thing is,
okay.
this is the thing. You can't. There's not many people I know that want to do this. In
Mhm.
fact, I asked a couple buddies, and they were like, "That sounds terrible." So I'm going to be doing this alone. I'm just going to be going out by myself, which is fine. And I'm just going to do 150 miles. I don't know when it will be. I think I'll probably have to do like a 3 a.m. start time to get
Okay.
it done here because inevitably it's really hot right now. But and this is in preparation, listeners, for my later on year task, which is lowest to highest challenge. So I'm glad this one felt good because if it didn't, I'd be nervous for where I'm going the end of this year in October, which is 120-mile bike ride to then summiting Whitney, which is like that's like putting everything that I've done over the last 5 years together in a perfect bag of pain. And you better believe, Sean, I will be in pain in that.
Uh-huh.
When I do that, there's no way I won't be in pain. And I've got my hands up like I look like a ghost, like Hunter. Oh man, Pokemon. So that's my current objective. It's in sight. I've already got my permits. It's gonna happen. Hey, are you gonna be on my sag wagon? Are you gonna be following me in your car?
I haven't been invited yet.
Well, you're invited officially.
Oh, okay.
We
Well,
talked about it last time.
oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. I
Okay.
forgot.
Well,
Would count me in.
I'll send you the dates. Okay.
Okay,
I'll send
please
you the
do.
dates. It's going to be a Thursday. I would say it's a Thursday through Friday commit.
Okay, okay.
So I'll send you the dates on that. But
Okay, yeah, send it my way.
it sounds good. I think it'd be really fun. And you have a great Subaru adventure car. So it'd work really well.
I'm down. So yeah, let's send me the dates. So 150 miles, I think that to me sounds like an attainable goal for you. And I think that's crazy to say, like 150-mile day ride sounds attainable. I think that's impressive. But
Well,
I think
thanks.
that this is a cool one because you're not going straight out. I want to do like 250 miles, right? You're pushing yourself, but you're finding something that's still attainable. You're not going to kill yourself to try and get it, but it's still a really good goal to push for. I think that's a perfect objective for wanting to do stuff like this.
Well, to be real, that's 7 hours of hard riding.
Hmm.
You can't sleep on like, I know I'm kind of making light of 100 miles slightly. Like I said, it wasn't that, it's still hard. It's still very hard. Like you get off the bike and you are like, thank God I'm off the bike. I mean, it's an amazing euphoric experience. And the food, you're just like, I mean, yeah, it's great. But I ate 2 dinners. I mean, you can pretty much that's the beauty too. Like for everybody that loves to eat, these are great because you could
Hmm.
just get to eat and eat and eat. And I mean, you can just do it until everything kind of shuts down. So that's a positive. But yeah, we'll finish up here with my all-time favorite tool. And I think it'll go to no surprise, listeners. It's the one that got me into this in the first place, which is my bicycle. I started riding. I'm out of college and let's see. Actually, I was given a bike. So I originally, Sean, my first endurance event was actually with a group of guys where I found myself on the side of the road cramping on the way up and on the way down. And
Okay.
I had to call my buddy's dad to literally pick me up in his truck.
Mm.
And I was riding a Gary Fisher mountain bike. And I said, wow, that was really fun, except for the fart. The fart. It was a fart, except for the part where I imploded. And these guys were like smoking me. I
Hmm.
mean, it was literally, and they didn't care. That was the best part. They literally were like, John, come on. Every time I caught up, boom, there they go again. I mean, they would just wait for me to get there and then boom, like without, they were not even, that was my favorite part about the whole experience because it was so raw. It was so like, there was no like, hey, John, how you doing? It was just boom, there they go. Boom, there they go. I catch up, boom. And they were going, so we went from La Mesa to Del Mar.
Okay.
And well, that's what they did. I did not make it there. I made it down Torrey Pines and then up a little bit of the hill, and they were already on their way back. And then I was like, oh, I think that's them. So then I came on back around and then went right back up Torrey Pines. I made it to right in front of Carl Strauss off
Okay.
Santa
Okay.
Fe
Yep.
in Pacific Beach. And that is where, oh, they just left me. I, I I'm not joking. They straight up were gone. I just,
Like John's dead. Leave him.
they straight up dropped me. I mean, I think back now, this is amazing because I've never actually dropped anybody. Like I'm a pretty nice guy.
Hmm.
Um, no, these guys just straight up. And I don't think I even had like, this is like back 7 years ago when cell phones and, like a little spotty
Hmm.
3G, 3G, like, whatever. So I didn't get it. I mean, I think somebody maybe called me or texted me, hey man, you okay? I just said, hey man, not going to make it. I'm dying.
I'm
They said,
bowing out.
yep.
I'm bowing
They,
out.
they said, yep. Sounds good, John. Bye. We're already over here. We're home. But anyway, so that was my entrance into the world. And I got gifted an actual road bike after that. It was a Peugeot, a teal Peugeot, French bicycle company, also automaker. Still performing at the Le Mans 24 hour, which is, I think, tomorrow or this weekend, which is an amazing endurance. Speaking of endurance, an endurance auto race, Le
Ooh.
Mans 24-hour race, which is on my bucket list. I want to go and, this Saturday, 7 a.m. to Sunday, June 11th, 7 a.m., 24 hours of man and machine dominating the streets of the French countryside on a 11-mile circuit. It is unbelievable. It's the craziest auto race ever, and I highly recommend the 2 documentaries on 24 hours of Le Mans. But the bike, Sean, it's my favorite tool. Always will be until I get on the 24-hour endurance Le Mans race circuit. I think it'll be my favorite tool.
I think that's a great favorite tool. I know that it's something that I want to get into more. I think I'm just gonna have to honestly go get a big granny seat for my bike because it's one of
Do
the
it.
things that's keeping me from doing it is, just the pain of doing it. And I'm like, oh, my butt hurts. I don't really want to ride anymore. So I think I might go to Trek or one of the other mom and pop shops and just get a
I
big fat granny
let me
seat so I can get
let
the
me
endurance up.
give you a Brooks
Brooks.
saddles.
Okay.
100%. It's a leather saddle. It'll be
Okay.
painful to break in at first, but
Okay.
again, just little efforts. Like start riding around the neighborhood.
Yep.
Um, Let me see if I can find it for you, and I'll put it in the link. But yeah, Brooks out of England.
Okay.
Uh, that is like the touring saddle company.
Okay. Okay.
Like it's great. It's really comfortable apparently. But again, do your research.
Mhm.
Dude, I'm like the stick guy. Like I have literally the little arrow one, and it's
Uh-huh.
great. Little bit of gel, just a little bit of gel, just a little bit of pad.
I can't imagine, that right now. I know I could eventually work up to it, but for now, I think you can go get Granny C. But I think that the bike being your all-time favorite tool makes a lot of sense. It's the thing that, allowed you entry into this crazy world of endurance athletics, and I think that it's been really, really cool and a pleasure listening to you talk about your journey here and the tips, tricks, keys, and to success, and all of your tools that you use. I think that this is really encouraging to a lot of other people to also know, even if they're not at this level, they can be one day, and it just takes consistency and effort and keep working towards it. And I just think it's really, really cool. And I just want to thank you for let me kind of pick your brain a little bit and teaching us the world of endurance athletics.
Well, I thank you for being willing to go along with me on this crazy journey and being a great leader this evening. Ask it to being the interviewer of the century while I took on the century. So this is wonderful. Listeners, we want to thank you for listening as always and for being a part of the How to Hobby podcast family, joining us on the platform wherever you're taking in or listening to this content. If you wouldn't mind just giving us a 5-star review, a follow, and maybe even share with some of your best friends. We would just really appreciate that. And if you have questions regarding the world of endurance athletics, you want to compare tips, man, this is getting me excited. I don't know if you can tell. I'm a very passionate endurance athlete at this moment
Mhm.
because I just got off the bike and it was awesome. So let's nerd out. Sean, get that saddle. Great job tonight, and good luck finding your sound bar.
Thank
I'm
you.
going to get my shaving cream, and we're going to call it a week. But until next time, listeners, you know where to find us on the How to Hobby podcast. Oh, that was funny.
I thought it